love that.
Orban era swept away by Peter Magyar's Hungary election landslide. Alex Soros celebrating, Hillary Clinton celebrating, Obama celebrating, a bunch of them celebrating. Last minute, Putin came to help, Bibi came to help, Trump came to help Orban, JD went to help. None of it worked. Orban ended up losing. And there's a lot to it, Rob. I think you got a video on this one here. 16 years in power. And this is a BBC story. A system condemned by electoral autocracy. Liza Tatters defeated by a 45-year-old former party insider who convinced a majority of Hungarians to bring it to the end. We did it, Peter said, told the crowd of cheering supporters beside the river Danube overlooking Budapest's magnificent parliament. On the other side, together we overthrew the Hungarian regime. Is this it, Rob?
This is Viktor Orban last night conceding.
Preliminary election results based on more than 98% of country counted votes, put his TISA party on course for an extraordinary 138 seats versus Orban's 55. And the far right, our homeland, on 6. The landslide will not only allow Magyar to overthrow Orban's increasingly unpopular domestic policies, but reset Hungary's global relation. Orban has been a close partner of President Trump, earning an in-person appearance from the J.D. Vance. That's what I said in the final week of the campaign. And Russia's Vladimir Putin, and he had become one of the big thorns in the inside of EU and Ukraine. Here's Viktor Orban conceding. Go ahead, Rob.
The election results, although not yet complete, are understandable and clear. The election result is painful for us, but clear. The responsibility and opportunity to govern were not given to us. I congratulated the winning party. Thank you for all your hard work.
There you go. Tom.
So Orban was trying to do two things. Hungary and California were very similar. It's not very big, but it was full of corruption, all kinds of problems going on. And Orban's been trying to make good relationships internationally, such as Trump, such as Putin. It's sort of interesting, and he was the one guy you saw on the end of his campaign, both Putin and Trump were saying, I hope this guy wins. Meanwhile, everybody else on the liberal globalist side say no. So Orban, people that are there said, no, he was a continuation of the corruption. He was trying to fix things domestically, and he did some things domestically that were really unpopular. And then he was trying to be a peacemaker and do things, on the world stage. People say, how can you call him a peace state? Right, okay. Well, the answer is Hungary is California, and this guy was actually trying to correct part of it. He was part of it because he had kind of, his political career come up through it. And now you had an opportunity for a conservative-minded guy in Hungary in the middle of the war and the economy and everything. The people said no. Not by a landslide, but people said no. And so that's what's going on. And this is why, and guess what? Now Soros is happy, Hillary's happy, Obama's happy, I say happy because all of them have put out statements of support. Meanwhile, the more conservative side of Earth is coming out and saying, man, this sucks. I thought there was an opportunity to turn the corner on Hungary. But you know what? The Hungarian people are fed up. And what the vote was in Hungary, you know what it was, Pat?
What's that?
Anything but this. And when voters do that, sometimes you get unintended consequences on elections, and that's what's happened here.
Yeah, so if you go, by the way, if you got Alex Soros' tweet, Rob, if you want to pull it up, go to Alex Soros' tweet. I just send it to you. If you go to his account, you'll be able to find it. It's not a big deal. Just go. There you go. Okay. So here's a tweet. The people of Hungary have taken back their country. A resounding rejection of entrenched corruption and foreign interference. If you go a little bit lower, look at the first tweet. Elon Musk, Soros organization has taken over Hungary. And Retard Finder says, imagine the family responsible for the most foreign interference complaining about foreign interference. Now, that's not me saying it. That's a handle that's called I Find Retards. That's the job of that Twitter account. So, Vinny, your thoughts on this?
So, basically, they found one. And I just hope, Pat, that Americans are paying attention. When Alex Soros, name one thing that name has done positive. Give me one George Soros positive thing. They're destroyers, okay? And I hope this sets off alarms. Because think about it. They just took Hungary, one of the most Christians, the last Christian stronghold in Europe. 16 years. They resisted the migrant flood. They resisted Alex and Daddy George. And that slow, like that national security. Now it's basically the walls have been breached. The people behind the push are not even pretending to hide it. And this is, Pat, a red-green alliance. Global Marxists on one side and the Islamic pressure is on the other side, and they're both moving in the same direction. And this is a warning shot. Europe is already cooked. And this is what happens when countries stop defending themselves. The leadership falls, the demographic shift, everybody's welcome. Bring everybody in. We don't care. We don't care. Crime rises, faith disappears, and the people who built the country are told to shut up and adapt. And I'm telling you right now, it's coming here. We're the main prize. America is a crown jewel. Look at every single uprising that we've had. BLM, this, burning the street, everything, all these judges, everything is so, every time you link it back to these NGOs and everything, it always leads to the Soros Foundation or something with George Soros, okay? And they're not even hiding it anymore. So I hope people are waking up, because once a country loses its identity, Pat, getting it back is way harder than getting it in the first place. And they're not hiding it. Anytime Alex Soros, Hillary Clinton, and they're celebrating about something happening over there, it's a bad sign, period.
Tom.
There's 10 million people over there. There's 10 million people in Hungary, and they're all flipping out. And you had this conservative opportunity there, but now you've got Soros in there interfering with it. And, you know, he has a little bit of a bone to pick with Hungary over time, right?
Of course.
A little bit of a bone to pick, because they called him out and they knew who he was, and he couldn't even go visit what was his country of birth, right?
He's banned in so many countries.
He's banned. Yeah. What does that tell you? And so he's back there trying to manipulate it, because every one of these, you have to understand, the globalist, populist, and communist movement see every one of these countries like a state. Mm-hmm. There's 10 million people there. There's like almost 3 times that in Florida. Mm-hmm. So think about it. This is like, I don't know what U.S. state has 10 million people in it. You know, I don't know, Missouri or something. Mm-hmm. So this is what they've got. And so they're out there trying to do it. And that's it.
There you go. Adam, any final thoughts?
I'm not the Hungary expert. I'll just say this. Orban was an extreme nationalist, you know, Hungary first. This other candidate basically was more of a globalist, basically saying, I'm going to align myself with the EU, with NATO, that kind of situation, with the globalists, you know, Ukraine. Whereas Viktor Orban was basically saying, you know, strong man. But here's the most powerful thing. In any election, the most powerful thing is change. This guy came in and said, listen, you've been doing this for how many years? Almost 20 years with this guy? 20 years? He said, it's time to go. And at the end of the day, this is democracy showing the people have a voice. The people have a choice. There's a lot of places out there where democracy is fading. At least in Hungary, it appears that it's still there.
Okay, so let's talk about Trump blasting the Pope. Here's a New York Post story. Trump blasts Pope Leo as weak, says he prefers his MAGA brother after pontiffs veiled jabs over Iran war and immigration. Is this it? Let me first read what he said, and then we will go through what he said. Rob, do you have what the Pope said?
I have a clip of the Pope, I believe this weekend, where he says he's going to continue to speak out against the war.
Go ahead.
The message of the church, my message, the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers. I do not look at my role as being political or politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
Okay, here you go. That's the Pope, and then here's the president. Go ahead, Rob.
And they're going to go back, filled up with oil. Okay?
Why did you attack Pope Leo on Truth Social?
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear. What about the fear when the ministers and the priests and all of those great people that were arrested during COVID, and in many cases they're outside 10 feet apart, and they were arrested. So we don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
I mean, unless I missed something, the Pope, all he said was, listen, I'm not about war, you know? He quoted the Bible, blessed are the peacemakers. He's just he's not saying, you know, to hell with them and whatever with the troops. No, this is the Pope. This is the holiest guy on the planet, the biggest guy in Catholicism, just voicing his opinion, and then Trump goes into this this wasn't a 500-worder, but it's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of him going after him and then bringing up nukes. All this guy is saying is, listen, I'm not about war. If you're trying to be a Christian, a good Christian, the last thing on the menu is war. And if there's a way to do it, do it. And if he's going to bring up because I don't know if we're going to bring up him tweeting, Pat, about him being basically Jesus and
we will do that right afterwards.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I struggled with this because it's like the Pope, the Catholic Church has become political. Let's face it. Over the last 25 years, they've become very political. They've weighed in on DEI. They've weighed in on so many things, and they've also done, you know, kind of ride the line. Well, what we really interpret is this. So they've actually moved, and they've moved things. And people say, well, that's progressive. That's that. Not if your handbook is the Bible and it says that 1 foot is 12 inches and an inch is this much, then you don't try to change it over time so that 1 foot is 14 inches or 8 inches. Mm-hmm. You don't change your standards. And the Pope has kind of moved with that some people call, you know, progressive Catholicism. You know, I don't know. On the other hand, where Trump is, you know, if you're not with me, you're against me. And he's very, very clear about that. And while he's trying to get things done on a world stage, you know, he's going to react to things that he thinks. Remember, it wasn't just this comment by the Pope. There's been other things, and there was a closed-door meeting. And so Trump is a little annoyed with the Vatican because Trump sees the Vatican as a political voice. And it's like, if you're going to be a political voice out there, this is what we're trying to do. You know, last time I checked, Trump didn't say this, but Tom says this. The last time I checked, the path to peace in the Bible sometimes got a little bit bloody and a little bit messy because humans are humans. And so this is a heavy tweet, but I think I understand where it's coming from. Yeah. You know, if you're not with me, you're against me.
Yeah. Adam.
Well, let me take off my yarmulke and put on my Cardinal hat. Here's what we know about Trump.
Here's your APAC baseball hat.
Thank you, buddy. Tom's got the jokes, always. Here's what I know about Trump. Anybody can get it. A week ago, people were freaking out, basically saying, may Allah be with you. All of a sudden, there's people upset about that. All of a sudden, we're going to take down an entire civilization. Nothing happened. All talk, rhetoric. Calls out the Pope. By the way, this isn't his first time calling out the Pope. By the way, he'll call out Bibi. What the F is going on here? If you get in Trump's crosshairs, whether you like it or not, he's going to shoot. What's the famous phrase? If you come at me, I'm going to come at you 10 times harder. So that's Trump. You like it or not. I'm on Team Trump because Trump represents America. The Pope doesn't represent America, despite being from Chicago. Go Bears. I know Humberto's probably going to be a little offended right now. That's okay. The Pope doesn't represent America. I have Catholic friends. I have Christian friends. I have Muslim friends, everything. No one is without basically being, no one's above being criticized. Anyone can get it. Because if you look at what the Pope is basically saying, if you didn't tell me he was the Pope,
yeah,
he would sound like a pacifist. He sounds like a dove. You know, this concept of like, are you a hawk or a dove? Trump's neither. Trump's a deal maker. Are we going to get stuff done or not? Here are the things that I understand. You tell me if I'm wrong. What the Pope basically advocates. Promotes peace, no war. He's an open border guy, globalist type of guy. Helps humanity. I get that respectfully. It seems to me there's a lot of socialist tendencies, and they're critical of capitalism. At the same time, doesn't the church own more land than anybody in the world? Aren't they basically a religious corporate structure dictating the papal laws to all around the world?
Supposedly own more land except countries.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
They're also very
Donald
big on the
Trump
Green
set
New
an
Deal, the
ultimatum
Green New
for
Scam,
Iran.
talking about a thing.
Reopen the
At the end of the
Strait
day,
of
these
Hormuz
crosshairs
and
are
strike
going to
a deal by
happen.
an 8
And
p.m.
it'd be
deadline,
best served
or
for
face
the Pope
massive
to stay in
military
his lane
action.
and Trump to stay in his lane.
Trump wrote
when
on
those two
social
lanes
media
cross,
that a
it's gonna
whole
get ugly.
What do you think, Pat?
civilization
Because
will die
from what I heard,
tonight,
I
never
didn't
to be
hear
brought
the
back
Pope was
again
just saying
if
I
Iran
just wish there was
failed to comply.
more peace. I don't
He
think
said he
was
didn't
going,
want that
What do you
outcome,
think? I'm
but
curious.
that it
I
was
mean, look,
likely
he to
framing
me, I
this
like him more than
moment
the
as one
previous
of the
guy.
most important
I'm
in
not,
world
you know,
history.
I think he
The
is.
threat wasn't
He's
just
just saying, he
rhetoric.
says, look, the Bible
U.S.
says
forces
peacemakers,
launched
right? Be a
airstrikes on
peacemaker,
Iranian
and, you know,
military
blessed are the
targets,
peacemakers. And,
including Card
you know,
Island,
at this moment, people
a
could
key
say
oil
Trump's not a
hub.
peacemaker. Trump's
Actions
a
tied to
chaotic
mounting
agent. You
pressure
know,
on
he disrupts.
Tehran.
He's constant, right?
Iran
Which is fine.
responded
That's who
defiantly.
the American people
Some
voted
officials
2 times
prepared
to
civilians to
be
shield
the president.
power
But I will
plants
tell
and
you
key
something here that
infrastructure.
low key.
And Tehran
You know,
at one
here's-
point cut
you know,
off direct
I don't know
talks
why
with the U.S.
Catholics,
after Trump's warning.
You know, have this issue
Internationally,
with Jews.
the
I
escalation
don't know what it
sparked
is.
alarm.
They have
Legal and diplomatic experts
you know,
warned that
I don't
targeting
listen. I
broad
get the
infrastructure
Jews
could
have
amount
issues
to war
with Christians,
crimes, while
and they'll make
allies
fun,
and
and they'll say
critics
stuff
urged
like,
a
"Oh, your
diplomatic
Jesus is
path.
going to," you know, they'll say,
By the
"Well, he was a
deadline,
Jew anyway."
due to
right?
diplomatic pressure
But
and
then
mediation
Catholics
efforts, Trump
have that
agreed
issue
instead to a
with
temporary
Jews.
2-week ceasefire,
And they act like, you know, they're
contingent
all
on
innocent
Iran
and
reopening the
everything. And when you
strait,
look at Catholics, the
averting
amount of
immediate
central
catastrophe. The crisis highlighted global fears of wider conflict and underscored how brinkmanship, dramatic ultimatums, and shifting alliances can push modern geopolitics to the edge.